So the transfer portal does not discriminate, and that includes the reigning national champions, because today, news broke that JT Daniels and Jermaine Burton would be entering their names into the transfer portal, and this is unique because these are two individuals that I think a lot of the Georgia faithful were counting on having bright futures for their dogs. So we need to break this down, but before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes, N for no. Are you surprised that these two individuals are entering the transfer portal? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed that content, like and comment down below. Those interactions, those small, are massive to content creators such as myself, and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, we need to break this down, and we will start with JT Daniels because we talked about this a few days ago. JT Daniels is a very talented prospect, a former 5-star out of Mater Dei High School in California, a one-time quarterback for USC, but ultimately transferring from USC to Georgia. And he's somebody that many have expected to see more of. It's just never come about. This season, he only accounted for 722 yards, and there were instances where Georgia, such as the SEC championship game, a lot of Georgia fans were thinking there was an opportunity that they could see JT Daniels come out after halftime. However, it never happened. So at some level, I think it's not surprising that JT Daniels would enter his name into the transfer portal. But on the other hand, you look at the situation, and I think there were a fair share that thought he would be the heir apparent to that job. If you are looking at it holistically, though, Georgia still has Brock Vandagriff, a very talented quarterback they liked coming out of high school. So to see what he's able to do, he'll be competing for that job amongst others. That's a situation we have to watch unfold. What does the future hold for the Georgia quarterback room? A lot of people had JT Daniels in that conversation, and we have to wait and see what will happen there. But now we need to talk about Jermaine Burton, wide receiver and a really talented playmaker for the Georgia Bulldogs. And Jermaine Burton is an interesting one. From Calabasas, California, a top 100 player coming out of the nation in high school. He is an individual that I think a lot of Georgia fans had high expectations for, and reasonably so. In fact, if we are talking just wide receivers, not tight ends and wide receivers, he was Georgia's leading receiver, especially in a year where Pickens wasn't all the way healthy. Jermaine Burton accounted for 497 receiving yards this year on 26 receptions. So he's got big playability, averaged 19.1 yards per reception. Now, this is a loss that I find really interesting. Burton is an individual that has been able to positively affect games for Georgia, as we saw in the national championship, and one had to imagine his future was bright, that he was going to be utilized, no matter what the situation in the wide receiver room was, because he was a guy Georgia was relying on in the absence of Pickens. Brock Bowers and Jermaine Burton really picked up the slack and became prominent targets for Stetson Bennett and the Dawgs. So if Jermaine Burton does intend to leave the Georgia Bulldogs, it is going to be interesting to see how Georgia answers that loss right there. Very excited to hear from y'all. Hop down to the comments. The transfer portal strikes again, and I can't wait to hear from y'all. That's it. See ya.